I can see the outline of a circle. On my left is a dot with lines coming out of it in every direction, and on my right I can see a white disc with lots of white dots and darkness behind them. I can see dots, lots of dots in a sequence, and lots of numbers and lines in a sequence, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines of numbers. I can see numbers and a circle and numbers and a circle and a wave of a line that goes up and down, and equations with lines underneath. I can see a large circle on my left, and a small circle and a small circle and a small circle and a small circle. And the third small circle is dark, and a row of numbers and a row of numbers, and an equation, and another equation. I can see a large circle on my left, and then a smaller circle with a line through it, and a smaller circle with a line through it, and another circle which is even smaller and a dot, and then a long equation, and then a short equation, and then a series of numbers, followed by another series of numbers. On my left, there is a white sphere, followed by another white sphere, and on my right is a white sphere with a crack in it, followed by intricate patterns of lines. I can see a gradient of colour. On my right is red going to dark red, followed by green going to dark green, followed by blue going to dark blue, surrounded by darkness. I can see a really uneven surface with holes in it. It's grey with darkness behind it, and each lip of each hole is very white. I can see a sphere which is white on one side, overshadowed by darkness on the other side, with black discs on it, and a number. I can see a pink sphere with rings that circle it. The rings are darker pink, almost brown, with a grayish. I can see a sphere which is blue and brown and white and black, enveloped in darkness on my right. It looks like Earth. I can see the Earth from a distance, with lines snaking across it, and white lines snaking across it in the other direction, with equations through it. I can see a series of circles and dots on a gradient from small circles to large circles with numbers within the circles. I can see letters and lines attached to letters and lines attached to letters and lines 4 times. I can see a complex pattern of numbers and lines attached to one another. The letters are O and C and H and N. On my right, I can see a double helix. It's unraveling, and there are numbers within it, and the letters A and G, and an equation. I can see a double helix, and it moves from my left to my right, instead of my top to my bottom, and it has a number beside it, and throughout it are letters, and it's unraveling, and there's a broken line leading up to it. I can see lines and dots, stretched dots and numbers. I can see a skull and bones and vertebra and ribs and skin and muscles and pelvis and veins. I can see numbers on muscle groups. I can see the inside of a man with muscle groups showing, and shoulder blades and ribs and elbows and a pelvis. I can see a brain and a cross-section of the inside of the human structure, and intestines and lungs and veins. I can see a rib cage numbered. I can see a larynx. I can see the outline of a man and a circle with an arrow pointing to my right. I can see a circle with a line with a cross through, pointing downwards. I can see swirls and boxes. I can see a digestive system numbered in great detail. I can see the digestive system numbered in great detail in pink. I can see a circle